Hey everyone, this is Chris, but my friends call me Stones. Thanks for checking out my channel, and thanks for checking out my latest video. Wanted to show off really quick and have a conversation about some of the stuff, well, all the stuff, that I picked up from one trip to my Goodwill outlet this morning. I have mentioned before in past videos how during the winter season here in Ohio, there's no yard sales or garage sales. So I do a lot of my sourcing at thrift stores, and I go to my Goodwill outlet at least one time every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I leave my house around 9:15, and I get there with just enough time to kind of go through the bins before they push us off to the side and they force us to wait as they rotate all the bins at 10 o'clock with quote unquote fresh product. So that's what I do. And they charge $1.30 a pound, $1.29 a pound. And like I said before, I try to go at least once on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but sometimes I'll go multiple times in a day. Sometimes I'll go at noon, sometimes I'll go at 2 o'clock, because they have the rotations every 2 hours. So I paid $18 total for everything here. I've talked about some of the stuff in the past. It's not about reviewing everything that I bought, but to really have more of a discussion, or to prove um, how, first of all, there are people that they're regulars at the Goodwill outlet. We'll call them that, and they're there for different reasons. A lot of them are resellers. Some of them are hoarders. Some of them are just collectors. Some of them just enjoy the hunt or whatever. But people wait for those bins to be rotated, and they attack those new bins, sometimes very aggressively. And there's a couple of guys there that have been popping up lately that they're kind of annoying, because they really go at it pretty hard. They kind of toss things and really, dig aggressively, and it gets a little annoying. Um, but to make my point is, this is the type of stuff, regardless of the reason for why they go, this is stuff that I find without having to put up a fight. This is stuff for some reason they pass it over. Maybe they don't know what it's worth. Maybe they don't care. Maybe it's the type of stuff that they don't go after. But this is profit, and this is some good stuff. So I want to share some of this really quick. Some of this I've talked about before. Pez, I pick up loose Pez, brand new Pez. Once I get a certain number, 50 or 60, they sell for good money. I pick up Happy Meal toys, normally sealed. Last year, I picked up a total of 200 through the course of many, many trips to the Goodwill outlet, and I sold those for about $175. Free shipping. So with the shipping cost, the cost of the goods, the eBay fees, I make almost $100 on that. Littlest Pet Shop is something I do well on. Power Rangers, Bakugan, I just had a bunch of these that I put up for auction. Bad idea. Should have just sold them. Didn't need to put them up for auction because I didn't get as much as I know that I could have gotten. I think it could have gotten like triple if I hadn't put it up for auction. Bluey, I didn't know what Bluey was. I used to find these all the time loose in the bins, and when I found out it's this Disney show, I guess, Bluey, I have never found one. I've never seen them in the package before. This was brand new sealed, and it was sitting there. No one wanted it. It sells for about $8 with plus shipping. Christmas ornaments. Christmas still sells throughout the year, and this is for the popular Great Lakes Brewing Company in Cleveland for their Christmas ale. I thought about keeping this. Thought about saving it for next year. I might list it. I'm not sure yet. Something new. I always try learning about new things. In ephemera, true ephemera, I've never really dealt with on eBay, but I guess it can sell pretty well. And some of these, I think these are called cabinet cards and stuff. Some of these are actually postcards, but I thought I'd give that a try. Probably not even a nickel is what I paid for all this stuff. I've talked about VHS, all your kids stuff, the stuff that appeared on Nickelodeon, Disney, PBS. I've talked about this before. This stuff still sells well because some of these episodes that appeared on these VHS did not appear, was not put on DVD. So this may be the only way of getting it. So I've done really well with Blue's Clues in the past. I've done really well with Thomas the Train. I've talked about this before. And I just sold my last collection of these, so I'm building up my collection again to list on eBay. This appears to be an early generation Transformer. I'm not exactly sure who it is, but based on how it moves and how it's built, it's definitely not complete. I just grabbed it. Why not? So, and then here's some of the stuff that kind of surprised me. So a couple of weeks ago, I grabbed a bunch of Pampered Chef out of one of the bins. Again, it was stuff that had been sitting there from the previous rotation. No one was interested in it. Most of the stuff that I grabbed, that was, there were $10, $15 items. But they didn't weigh anything. They're mostly like little utensils like this, little, knickknacks, whatever you want to call it. This one surprised me. This magic mop right now sells for $40 on eBay. It's discontinued. Most of these are. A lot of the stuff is, but I've never found one with great value yet. And this is it. This thing's worth $40. So again, I spent $18. So this is doubling my money already, this one item. Here's this table runner. I thought this was cool. This is from Pier 1. It kind of has an autumn theme, pumpkins, sunflowers. It's about 3 feet long, very beaded. And this particular design on eBay is selling for about $50. So again, there I'm almost tripling my money, at least doubling my money, something like that. I grabbed this out of the bin, and when I first picked it up, I was about to throw it down, put it back in, but then I took a better look at it, and I'm like, oh, this feels very, very vintage. Design, color, the colorways. It looked very 90s action figure, toy line type stuff. And sure enough, it is. It's from a toy line called Exo Squad, which I've heard of before, but I'm not really familiar with. I've never sold them before. I've never had them before, but this is one of the vehicles. Kind of incomplete. It's missing its missiles, and it's missing the kind of the cockpit cover, whatever you want to call it. But even in this condition, I think I can get about $30 for it. So yeah. So here's something that's new. So things have kind of changed at our Goodwill outlet. They've changed the pricing, of course. They changed the rotation and how they do the rotation. It's a little less organized now. But one of the things that they added was electronics and plush. Those were two things that you never found in the bins. They never came out on the floor. Was true electronics. Now you'd find, like a toys game, like a kid's game or a toy or whatever that took batteries. That's a different thing. But like true electronics, they never put out on the floor. And I don't know why. One of the older regulars told me that it stopped years ago. But with all these changes that they just recently made, one of them was bringing electronics back out on the floor. And this is something that's everybody passed up on. So the one bin that had all the electronics in, everyone attacked it. But for some reason, everybody passed up on this. This is brand new sealed. I opened it up, and every piece, every module, whatever, is still brand new sealed in there. So I looked this up on eBay, and people are selling pieces and parts. They're selling like the handset separately and the base separately or whatever, even like the power cord and whatnot. There's only one complete set in use condition, and they have it listed for like $100, $120, something like that. I cannot find any past sales, even on Terapeak, of a complete one, of a brand new one. So I'm going to throw this up for like $175, maybe $200, and see if I don't get any bites on it. Phone systems do really well, especially good name brands, Panasonic, General Electric, those type of things. They sell really well. And I probably paid less than $5 for this based on the weight. And here's another thing that caught me by surprise that no one else grabbed up. And I don't know if it's because it was hidden. I didn't see it the first time I went to the specific bin where all the electronics were in. This phone was in there. I did not see this. But when I went back to this bin, because I always do a second sweep to I don't go through a bin and think I'm done with that bin. I will come back to it, make sure there's nothing that I miss. Another reason why you go back to it is because you don't know if people threw things, they decided against something that they eventually grabbed, and then they decided against getting it, so they might throw things back in the bin. And maybe this was one of those things. Maybe someone grabbed this at first and then decided against it. Maybe because they couldn't find the base. Because I found the top first, because the top comes off. And maybe they didn't know where the base was, and I found the base wrapped up in one of those like freebie like bags that they give you at like grocery stores and stuff like that. And I found the base, and this thing's dated on the bottom 1996. But it's not like a factory date, but yet other listings that I found had that same date stamped on the bottom. So maybe it is a factory date, but as you can see, it works. I plugged it up. Originally, all the lava had settled down in the bottom, and so I plugged it up, warmed it up, and it works perfectly. So I'm looking at probably getting at least $100 for this. And this was considered housewares because it's a lamp. And housewares, they only charge 50 cents a pound. So I think I paid like $4 for this or something like that. So at least $100. I may even keep this because it's so cool. I haven't had a true vintage lava lamp ever in my life, so I might keep that. So there you go. $18 is what I spent. Once again, I'm going to list this for, again, $150, $175, another $100 there. And then, this is worth about $30. I don't think I've mentioned that before. Remember, I had the magic mop from Pampered Chef. That's worth $40. So you're looking $300-$400 for $18. So there you go. And I forgot to point out this this calculator. This was not from the Goodwill outlet. There's another thrift store right down the road. It's a different company, let's say. It's not a Salvation Army, it's a local company. And one of the employees was putting out stuff, and I saw this in her cart, and I asked her if I could grab it, and they only wanted $2 for this, and it works perfectly. That's a $50 calculator all day on eBay. So there you go, there's my haul, and the stuff that I find that everybody overlooks.